dealing with the seeds that were planted. In this world, in this human world at this time, so much is about good or bad, light or dark. Balance is something we all seek, but not all of us really walk the line of balance. The seeds that have been planted. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Okay, so I'm a little speechless right now. Not just about the rainbow, but because you guys, it has been pouring and gray and dreary here. And I was meditating to this music that I will put below, and Spirit pulled me out of my meditation and said, you need to videotape. And I looked out the window and it was still dreary and windy. And I knew that we were in meditation about what I was going to talk about today on the Real Talk. But long story short, I started videotaping because they told me to. And I don't argue. And this is take 2 of the rainbow, because as I started to videotape, a rainbow came out. And then I got so excited, and I was trying to remove this thing off my screen so that I can get a close-up of the rainbow, and my phone, or it stopped recording because my finger hit it, right? So it stopped. And I'm like, oh man. I saw a rainbow. Edward and I saw a rainbow a few weeks ago when I was really blue. Like, I was so blue, like the bluest I'd been in a while. And I was just like coming off the Mercury retrograde, feeling beat to shit. And, Scorpio season, my moon's in Scorpio, that kind of thing. And the rain came in, and it was just every day, rain, 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 rain. And so anyway, as we were driving, all of a sudden Ed goes, babe, look up. And there was a huge rainbow. And I just started crying because I knew that was Spirit saying, like, we got your back. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So do you see the remnant of the rainbow up there? Up in the far corner, far right corner. And so I said, thank you. And that was the first rainbow I've seen in a really long time, which is, in the Pacific Northwest, we see rainbows a lot. But it was interesting when we saw it. It was so thick and colorful and so close to the ground, one of those, it just like illuminates like everything. And people were pulling over. Ed's like, look at, people are pulling over. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy, because it was so beautiful. So then cut to now, this is the second rainbow. Well, now that on this video is the third, and it looks like a fourth one's trying to pop back in there. But I realized just how precious our connection to Spirit is, because when I accidentally hit it, I'm like, man, are you kidding? I'm like, that was perfect, like what I was saying. And then I'm like, you guys, look, there's a rainbow. And then Spirit said, don't worry about it. You can turn it into a shorts. It'll be a cute little shorts. I'm like, okay. They always have me doing these little short films, right? I'm such a filmmaker. I'm such a creator. I love creating short films. So then I started this one, and then the rainbow came again, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm kind of speechless right now because I feel like it's, you're hearing me, all of my moments coming together in real time for me, so that's why I'm stammering and just a little bit in awe, because that is how awe-inspiring Spirit is. And you guys, Jesus has been coming through so strong. And for those of you in this tribe who are anything like me, where your childhood was very Christian persecution mentality, I understand how you can maybe struggle with certain energies, names, entities. But let me tell you, I was lovingly reminded yesterday during a session with, hi Lindsay, if you see this, with a new tribe member. We had a really great session yesterday, super intense, good work, lots of hours, so beautiful. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm actually exhausted today. I'm wondering if they are too. But it was beautiful and it was amazing. And I realized how much so many of us have had that upbringing. And it doesn't have to be Christian either. If you're part of this tribe, it doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Hindu, whatever it was. If it was a religion that you felt isolated, or you felt trapped, or you felt a type of conformity that didn't align with what your soul knowledge told you, and your intuition and in your gut, then you align with that energy. And so much lately, I have been feeling the I am you, you are me. Look at Missy's got her butt to us. I love it. You go, girl. So those of you who are new here, welcome to the tribe. And those of you who've been here forever, thank you so much for sticking around. I love y'all so much. But that's Missy the horse. Let me see if I can get in there. Missy's awesome. She's an old girl. She's an old girl. Missy is, nobody really knows how old she is. She's somewhere between 26 and 30. Everybody around this area has stories about Missy. She's kind of been passed around and passed around and passed around. And she's a really special animal. She's one of my best friends. But what Spirit has been trying to convey to us lately is really rising above the situation, and it's not that we can't have emotion around a situation, right? Most of us on this tribe, in this tribe, are also empaths, right? So if we're empathic, or if you're like myself, you're telepathic as well, and you're medium, that's a lot of energy, and that's a lot of weight to carry around, right? Like, it's too much some days. I'm trying to find a nice little spot for us. Let's sit on the bench. We'll sit on the bench right there. Here we go. A little crooked. I'm trying to balance this on my window. There we go. I'm going a little closer. Take a seat on the bench and look at Missy. But most of us felt like freaks, weirdos, outcasts, creeps. Annoying. We were annoying. The blue jay just came in. Hey, Dad. For those of you who've lost a father, I'm feeling a strong father energy. Could be an ancestor. When I see blue jays, they remind me of my biological father, who's passed now. Also, if you're so inclined, look up blue jay spirit animal. You just Google blue jay spirit medicine. Blue jays are in the corvid. Ugh. Not to be like, because I shouldn't, but I just don't like to get those confused. Oh, there they go. Thank you for flying low enough for us to see, my friend. Thanks, Dad. The corvids. Look into the corvids. The corvids are ravens, crows, and jays. They're very powerful. Edward and I were watching Game of Thrones yesterday, and we were like, how does the raven know where to go? And then it's like, because he was like flabbergasted by that. He's like, how does it know where to go? I'm like, I don't know. That's really interesting. I'm like, they're really visual though. I'm like, maybe they train them to look at, like, I said, corvids are known for, like, they can literally pick up, they know the difference between a star, a circle, and a triangle. Like, they can put them in the right slots. Like, they're extremely intelligent. So I'm like, maybe they, and if you know, please comment below. But I said maybe they like put imagery of like the flags of the castles, and so they know like this is the one that you're going to, and they just know the continent so well, because they're looking at it from a higher perspective, right? They're looking at it from the outside in. They don't have an attachment, to these sides either way. And then I laughed and said to Ed, I go, I'm actually surprised they do it at all. I'm like, they're so intelligent. And, they speak to each other. They speak to humans. They can speak to other birds. They're just really powerful. And I said, I'm surprised that they would do the humans' bidding. And he said, well, he goes, maybe, he's like, because I think humans and animals had a different, they understood each other's place back then. They had a different respect. I was like, maybe. But all of this is tying into, I wanted to talk about our childhood trauma. And even with this video, the way that happened with the rainbow and all that, I was like, man, I fucking ruined it. I was like so disappointed. I was like, it's only the second rainbow I've seen in like a year, I think, or it feels that long anyway. I couldn't tell you, literally. There were times where, ooh, shake it off. Yeah, shake it off. Spirit saying, let that wind blow away any energies that no longer serve you, any thoughts, processes. We're at the beginning of a new week. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time for me, it's Sunday, November 14th, 2021. We have the full moon in Taurus coming around the corner, and it's also a lunar eclipse. So we're going to have a lot of stuff going on this week, a lot of really cool energy. And they want us to start looking at the seeds that have been planted that aren't ours. I cannot tell you how many things I have been watching lately that Spirit has drawn me to. Movies, TV shows, documentaries. Just unbelievable education to help further and deepen my knowledge of self and to disconnect from the imagery and the emotions of seeds that were planted by my parents, by my teachers, by my friends, lovers, ancestors, media, celebrities. How much I've hated myself and hated my body. What a horrible thing to say, right? Also, 1106 angel number, if that resonates with you, or 116, 116. Also comes out to the number 8, which is infinity. But it's about bringing the balance, right? Infinity symbol's also very balanced, right? Of course, we needed to have those seeds planted so that we can become who we are. However, we're not meant to stay in certain energy fields. We're meant to expand and grow and stretch far, far beyond the simple things right in front of us. I wanted to be more playful. I wanted to do more readings. I love pick-a-pow readings. They're so fun. Talk about like, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to covet or use words like jealousy or envy. But sometimes I see these pick-a-pow readings from people and they're just so delightful and they're so fun. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I'm not taking away from their awesomeness. It's just more like my little child that's like, I just want to play right now. I just want to play with everybody. I just want to bring people messages. I want to be the fairy, It's interesting how the readers that I watch rotate too. Some of them I've been with for years. We rotate in the same energy and the same place. Like, it's really cool. Ancient Star Queen is one of my favorites like that. We seem to be in similar places at the same time. And they're Scorpio. My moon's in Scorpio. Star Girl, the Practical Witch. She's a Sag. I'm a Sag. I really align with her path as well. I feel like we've been on very similar journeys. But I subscribe, I think maybe to 8 different readers, and it fluctuates. And sometimes I'll follow a reader for like a year, and then Spirit will be like, no more. You're like, you guys, like, they serve their purpose, And certain times, Spirit will call me to comment, to help maybe a conversation or help someone, or sometimes I'll be drawn to the comments, and someone needs an answer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they have like 30,000 comments or something, right? Like, it's like they're not going to find that, but yet somehow it'll fall into my orbit. And then it's like, bam. I give them the answer that they need, just because, we're mediums. We work together. We can't, the person can't go through 30,000 things and answer, you know what I mean? Like, it's not possible. It is possible, but I'm just saying, what a time drainer. It's like, that's not their job. So I've just been watching so much lately as I've been going through my brattiness of not getting what I want again. And it's just made me realize how blessed I am to be who I am and to have the seeds that have been planted, because they have only made me a stronger, better soul, human, light worker, whatever label. I've been really feeling the channeling and the mediumship from Spirit. I've been getting better at the telepathy thing. It's like I've always known it was there, but I just would ignore it. And then I realized I just couldn't ignore it any longer. So I'm still working with that. But certain gifts, yesterday when I was working with this beautiful soul, so much happened afterwards for me. A lot of intense energy, emotions, a lot of my own past stuff coming up because they had we have very similar issues and backgrounds. And whenever we find that commonality with another person, it just helps us to dive deeper into our own journey, our own wormholes, that we need to go down. So I ask that you work really hard on yourself in the next week. Work with these energies of the light and the dark, finding your balance. Lunar eclipses are really special to me, especially now. We're having a lunar eclipse in Taurus, which is a very grounding energy. So utilize that very grounding energy, but also get in there with that bull, right? The Taurus is represented by a bull, and it always makes me think of that line from Breakfast Club when he's like, you want to play with the bull? You get the horns. My throat is getting... So speak your truth. Speak your truth from your heart, not your ego, not your protective mechanisms. Some seeds were planted for a reason, to help you figure out your journey. But now it's time to take a higher perspective and fly high above the earth through the eyes of the corvids, the eagle, the spirit medicine. The eagle is the representation of spirit. And the eagle can see far, 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 high, high above the earth for miles. They can see movement and go after their prey with lightning speed. But we are in the Scorpio energy, which is water. Water is about emotions. As we approach this full moon, it's really a time to go inward, find direction in your heart and your mind and your soul. Stop fighting the things that make you happy and make you flow. Because right after that, we have that awesome fiery Sagittarius energy where we take action. So sink into this energy. Sink into the river flowing energy of water. The blue jays just flew by again, but this time they were higher. You couldn't see them, right? But I saw it. So use your third eye and compassion. Using compassion, Spirit said. I'm getting that from the Pleiadians really strongly right now. They're channeling through me. Thank you, Pleiadians. Thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody. And thank you to your higher selves and my higher self and all these spirit animals and spirit guides and the angels and archangels, the gods and goddesses, our benevolent creator, light, dark, God, Lucifer, Jesus. That's what Jesus wanted to talk about earlier in the video. I saw a medium years ago and she said, Jesus wants to know why you've turned away from him. And I swear to you, I wanted to get up and walk out. And I said, don't peddle your fucking Christian bullshit at me, lady. And she was like, whoa. She's like, no. She's like, she goes, now I know why Jesus wanted to talk to you. And she was really awesome. And then I found out she was a reverend at a Christian church, and it was like a Christian church that had crystals, and she was like she was a different kind of Christian. I never knew anyone like her, but her job was to just promote, the loving energy of Jesus, the embodiment of Jesus, not the, worshiping the man that Jesus was. Jesus is an archangel. He's the archangel of love. We were talking about this yesterday, just as Raphael is the archangel of healing and Michael for protection, and we can go on and on and on. But Jesus comes to me many times and says this to me, don't get it twisted. The humans get that stuff twisted, especially those that are utilizing religion for their own personal gain. Religion has ripped me apart from my family, my blood and bone family. I don't talk to. I cannot be around them because they are either in this atheist mentality, or they're in a, think I'm crazy. I'm, not really talking to anything. I'm just schizophrenic or bipolar or whatever label that they put on me. The last one was that they thought that I had Asperger's. Not laughing at Asperger's, but just like, okay. Even that, almost every, because I've personally worked with one-on-one with autistic people, children and adults, but I've also ran into them in public where like I've had energies or entities come up and hug me through what a physical being would be Down syndrome on Earth, and like Asperger's, like I said. I've had all throughout my life. I've been in stores where these angels will just come and hug me, and the parents will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, look at the blue jay again. And they'll be like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what are you apologizing for? I'm like, hi, and they're like, hello. And they'll like talk to me and hug me. One of the last times it happened, it was this sweet man. I don't know how old he was. He had Down syndrome. And to me, he was timeless. You know what I mean? He was so childlike and sprite-like and full of so much love and energy. But on the human earth plane, I'd say he was probably in his like 30s, maybe 40s, possibly. But it was so interesting. Oh, here comes Callie. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. We'll see if she walks into frame. That's another horse. But it was just this really beautiful moment, and we just were hugging and kissing on each other, and they were like, I love you so much. And I was like, I love you. And the parent was just like flabbergasted. They were like, and I said, hey, it takes one to know one. He recognizes that, I'm an angel like him, and, we're not from here. And I said, angels come in all shapes and sizes. Jesus was a man. He came to earth as a man, but he could have just as easily came as a horse, which he probably has. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus is an embodiment energy. So there's been many, I've said this before, John Lennon, blah, 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 but it's Christ consciousness. But what I'm saying is that in these very rigid religious conformity angles that have been, force-fed to the masses over the centuries, is this perfectionism. 2235, angel number. It's also number 12, which is also number 3. And 3 is the Jesus, Christ consciousness. That's interesting. But do you hear where I'm going with this? It's the embodiment of the Christ consciousness. So they are here to remind us today of our divinity and of our Christ consciousness, and recognizing that in each other. And it doesn't matter what the package is on the outside. In all the pictures of Jesus, even the ones where he's white, quote unquote, Jesus is always depicted as a very beautiful man in what we perceive to be as beautiful, right? But there were no pictures back then. And even the paintings that have been, taken of what people said Jesus looks like, we'll never know what Jesus really looked like, right? Because even a painter is an interpretation. So this Christ consciousness mentality is love. But when we have seeds that have been planted in our emotional body, our mental body, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too this, you're too that, be more like this, be more like that, then we become something else. And they're having me turn. Oh, here we go. Look at Ghost is nudging him. Ghost is nudging Callie. I said, do you want me to turn it? And they said, yes. And I said, okay. And they said, because they wanted you to see the dice. Look at that. Number 4, which we said earlier, number 8. 4 is about getting the balance back. That's like a toy for them, but it's like a die, right? So it's 1, and then there's 3 on one die, but there's 4. And even Ghost, look at him. He's got white on him, and he's got black on him. Right now, we see the balance of the white and the black, the light, the dark. It's all about love, man. So let go and tear out at the root the trees, the bushes, the flowers that were planted, seeds that were planted from your family, from your friends, from your coworkers, from anyone who told you that you were less than, that you'd be better if this, that if you changed that. Spirit doesn't want you to change anything about yourself. Do you think when Callie looks at Ghost, not that I don't know if she knows what she looks like, I don't know if she's ever seen herself in a mirror, but do you think she looks at Ghost and is like, I want to look like him, I want to have blue eyes and be special like him? She might, but probably not. She's just a horse, a beautiful, gorgeous entity that loves herself just for who she is. When she came to this farm at the beginning of the summer, this farm this year, we had rescue horses. And when she got here, they told us all these things about her, to be careful. She doesn't like women. She doesn't blah, 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 all these things. But it's interesting, over the last 6 months, how much I would never say those things about her. Now, does she still have those things in her, those fears, I'm sure she does. But we've worked with her a lot. We've soothed her. We've comforted her. We've told her how beautiful she is, how special she is. She had an injury. She can walk, but she can't run anymore. It's like, some people are like, oh, you should put them down. It's like, why? She can live a nice, full life. She's not in pain. She just can't do certain things anymore. It doesn't mean that she's worthless or she's useless, right? Or we should, put her out to pasture, so to speak, and kill her. It's like, no, we put her out to pasture in the pasture where she can just live her life and be a horse and be herself. And we've noticed how much more, before she was kind of like, like if you got too close to her, and we found out that she was abused by a woman. And I just tried to give her extra love and let her know how special she was, and that there's nothing wrong with her, and that she's not defective. So I don't know where she came from, sometimes animals show me stuff and sometimes they don't. The only thing I really got from her is that I have the feeling she was kind of like a show horse and treated really well and everything was great until she got hurt, right? Then she wasn't so perfect and so special anymore. And then she was discarded. And maybe before she was discarded, she was yelled at or been maybe at one point they were like, oh, look at how beautiful. And they would pet her and talk to her. And then when she became what they didn't want her to be anymore, she became sad and depressed because they probably were like, move, or, you know what I mean? They didn't treat her. That's the energy and what she shows me. And usually with the animals, I'm usually right with that stuff. And we've been working with that. And she's been really great with me. She's never done anything to me. I go out of my way to let her know how special and perfect she is, just the way she is. And I wish, if it's in our greatest and highest good, I wish that we can take these two horses with us wherever we go. But they'll go where they're meant to go. Anyway, I know we talked about a lot of things today. But I hope the seeds that were planted in you today were that you're beautiful and you're special just the way you are. You don't have to be anything more or anything less. And you'll have good days and you'll have bad days. And look up the horse spirit medicine, spirit animal medicine, if that resonates with you. Did you notice in the video how much changed in 29 minutes from the weather to the animals to the scenery? Don't get too attached to anything. Don't attach yourself to labels or emotions. Allow yourself to embrace them, feel them, and move them on. Happiness truly is a choice. But when we're in an energy that is exhausting us and expanding us beyond anything that we ever even knew. Oh my gosh, look, you guys. Do you see them flying up there? Hold on. Oh, I think they're gone now. It was I think ravens. I think there was 4 ravens. I couldn't tell. I'll have to look back because I don't have my glasses on. But you see what I'm saying? They're always with us. Spirit, the magic. Whatever anybody told you, whatever limitation anybody put on you, that was their own fear. That was their own self-deprecation. That was their own ego. That was their own depression. They didn't know any better. Forgive them and forgive yourself. And let go of it. If it doesn't feel good, let go of it. If it doesn't feel right, move on. Take risks, take chances. Change. It's ever flowing. I'm blessed to live in a place that has 4 seasons, so I get to embrace all of that energy. Even if you live somewhere that the seasons never change, it's internally, right? We have internal seasons. That's what astrology shows us, that we have internal seasons. Our soul, our energy fields, our atmosphere, our auric fields, right? All of it. Keeping our chakras balanced, keeping our mind, our soul, and our body at peace. Moving on. Moving on. Moving to better. What's meant for you. It's okay to be alone. And for those of you who are alone, man, I give you so much credit. It is really tough out there right now. But if you are alone, remember something. That's because you're a badass motherfucker. Not that those of us that are in relationships aren't as tough, but let's be honest. If you're alone right now, especially if you're alone and pulling away from friends and family and things that have been familiar to you, my hat is off to you. And you know what that says? That says you're a warrior. And this isn't your first time doing it. Dig deep. When you find your joy and your happiness and you don't seek outside validation is when the true magic happens, when the true change happens. Deep down inside of you, you know, ooh, 32, 32. 5, 5, ooh, 10, right? It's all about endings and new beginnings. And we're in this Scorpio season, the phoenix rising out of the ashes. And it is so poetic, right? Because we're in the Scorpio energy of water, but its representation is the scorpion and the phoenix, and also the eagle. Some people believe that the eagle is also. But look at the phoenix. I mean, it makes sense because we're going from Scorpio. We'll be going to Scorpio, from Scorpio to Sagittarius season soon. So it's like the bird that's like flying from the water, right? Through the fire, out of the ashes, reborn into something brand new. You are more than the seeds. And everything is temporary. We have annuals and we have perennials. An annual means it's going to keep coming back. A perennial means that it's only going to live out a short cycle. And then it'll be done. Remember, our souls are annual, but our human bodies in this lifetime, it's a perennial. You only get one shot in this life, in this body. This is it. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to live in somebody else's terms or yours? I love you so much, you guys. There's a pick-a-pile coming. I'm just not sure when. Look out for it. Till next time. I love you guys. Blessed be. Aho. Bye.